Vamos carajo, brothers, this is your boy JT and welcome back to another episode of South Stand Signings, the series, of course, where we go through everything happening in and around the world of Leeds United, and we have a little talk about it, and boy, it has been another hot day of transfer action. That is right, much like every single day this week and even this month, Leeds United have been popping off. That is right, whether we're selling players, buying players, being linked with players, there is just so much going on with Leeds United right now. It is absolutely bonkers. So let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get straight into the meat of the action. Just quickly before we do get into the rest of the video, there are a hell of a lot more of you who have just joined us very recently since we've been doing these transfer videos, and as you'll see in these videos, we like to break down some statistics. However, one statistic that is brutally alarming is that 77.2% of you are not subscribed. We are moonwalking our way up there, so if you could please help support me, support you by smashing that subscribe button down below, then that would be very, very much appreciated. Now, on to the rest of the video. And the first story for Leeds United is, of course, surrounding another potential departure, and it is that man, Jack Harrison, and Leeds United are apparently opposed to letting the 25-year-old go. Leeds United are not willing to sell to either Newcastle United or Tottenham Hotspur when it comes to Jack Harrison, unless if they receive a massive offer that they can't turn down. Harrison scored 8 times in the Premier League last season and grabbed the winner against Brentford on the final day of the campaign, helping the club to achieve survival in the top tier of English football. With just 2 years remaining on his contract, he has attracted a lot of interest from Premier League clubs this summer. Of course, the first two that we were looking at was, of course, Everton and Newcastle United. Now, as the transfer window's gone on a little bit, Tottenham have started to show severe interest as well. However, it did seem like this story was kind of dwindling away, or rather this transfer was dwindling away after Leeds came out and said we won't accept anything less than 30 million for Jack Harrison. Newcastle then turned around and said, you know what, we're not going to be able to afford that. Eddie Howe's only been given 80 to 100 million pounds, and he cannot afford to spend 30 million of those on Jack Harrison, so it does look like we are going to keep him. However, it does still seem like these interested parties are still lurking around and seeing if they can bully Leeds United. We'll get into it a little bit later, but Leeds have been royally, absolutely beaten the hell out of and bullied and abused and battered when it comes to this whole Rafaelinha situation. We've gone from £70 million to £60 million to the point where now we're valuing him at £43 million. And maybe some of these clubs are looking at Jack Harrison and looking at Leeds and saying, have you got the bottle there, my son? Or can we bully you as well? And it does look like they are still hoping for that to be the case. However, nonetheless, Jack Harrison is still a vital asset for Leeds United, and I'm very happy with this news. However, someone that potentially could have been a vital asset for Leeds United next season is Eddie Nketiah. That is right, Leeds are looking hot on the market for strikers. We are looking at pretty much anyone with a pulse that can play up front right now, and Eddie Nketiah did seem to be our primary target. Obviously, the first thing that got us all excited was Victor Orta coming out and saying, I have a £40 million Premier League proven striker on the radar, and obviously that has turned out to be Eddie Nketiah, because once it seemed like it was unlikely we were going to be able to get our hands on him, all of a sudden we stopped being linked with any Premier League strikers and started going for either Championship or foreign strikers. However, the Eddie Nketiah move has firmly been pushed off the table now. That is right, there is not a glimmer of hope of that happening after Arsenal striker Eddie Nketiah makes his final decision on future amidst Leeds United interest. And what is that decision, you may ask? Where has he gone? Is he still in London? Is he gone up to Scunthorpe? Has he gone up to Manchester? Where the hell has he gone? Well, as of late last night, when you're seeing this, Eddie Nketiah has signed a new contract up until 2027. The deal is completed and signed and sealed after a verbal agreement happened days ago. The official announcement is coming soon. Nketiah turned turned down multiple bids from Bundesliga and Premier League clubs to stay at Arsenal, and I believe one of those Premier League clubs was definitely Leeds United. However, we were too late. An hour late and $1 short, to quote Chael Sonnen. So that's another striker we will not be getting our hands on. The next story is, of course, surrounding what we were talking about before, the new realism over £120 million duo at Ellen Road. According to transfer insider Dean Jones, the club, as the days are going on and on and on, are becoming more and more resided to losing Calvin Phillips. Obviously, with not just Manchester City looking for him now, but PSG also looming over Calvin Phillips' head. Now, who will we sign to replace him? Well, there's been a lot of talk recently about a lot of names, but the one man that Leeds United have identified as his replacement is Sander Berge. That is right, Leeds United have expressed their interest in signing Sheffield United midfielder Sander Berge amidst links suggesting that Calvin Phillips could leave the club this summer. According to Give Me Sport, they claim that Berge has been identified as a potential target by Director of Football Victor Orta should Phillips leave Ellen Road. Now, this is the very interesting part. The way they've worded this here, saying should Phillips leave Ellen Road. I think the only way we get Sander Berge is if Phillips leaves Ellen Road. That's the way they're wording this, right? However, if we read between the lines here and we look at when we've been linked to other midfielders, most notably Tyler Adams, there was no mention of Calvin Phillips. There was no mention of should we lose Calvin Phillips. Therefore, it does seem like this is an extra signing that we could be getting. And we are still heavily linked with Tyler Adams. Those links aren't going away either. So the way that they've worded this here, saying that this is contingent on us losing Calvin Phillips, if you ask me, we are still in for two more midfielders. I think we're in for both Calvin Phillips and Sander Berge, and that for me is very, very exciting. I think Roca, Sander Berge, and Tyler Adams, although it's not ideal, although it's not Calvin Phillips, it certainly makes up for it. It certainly makes up for losing Calvin Phillips, and it would allow us to build from a strong base, and I'm not too mad at us signing both of those players. I think that would be a very, very good move for both of us. I've heard a lot of you guys messaging me recently saying, how close are we in the Sander Berge race? How far away are we? Is he going to be signing anytime soon? Boys, listen, I know just as much as you guys, I am dying to hear more information about this. However, it is all contingent on what's going on in Calvin Phillips' situation. There's still a very, very slim chance that he does sign and stay at Leeds United. However, the more time goes on, the less likely that looks, and the closer we do look to Sander Berge. When there is more information on both Calvin Phillips and Sander Berge's future, I will let you know very, very soon. However, one midfielder that Leeds do have a lot of information on and have been making tangible steps to get is midfielder George Hall from Birmingham City. That is right, Leeds United remain locked in talks with Birmingham City for George Hall. The 18-year-old first caught the eye playing for England at youth level last November, with reports recently suggesting that the Whites had firmed up their interest and were willing to make a 7-figure offer. That's a big offer. That is a big offer. I know what you're thinking, £1 million in today's market, not a lot of money, but £1 million for a youth player like this, that's a lot of money, man. That is big moves, and this is crazy, man. Football's gone mad, isn't it? We're talking about an under-18 player, a guy for the youth setup, and he's going to cost £1 million. That's more than most people will see in their lifetimes. Football money is crazy, man. It's the biggest false economy I've ever seen. Alas, I'm not here to complain and be like, well, back in my day, because technically it is my generation that have screwed all of this up. But hey, football's mad, isn't it? Football is mad. He's capable of playing anywhere in the midfield and even in attack. Phil Hay has even said that Leeds are lining up moves for both Hall and Sonny Perkins. Now, this is very, very exciting because as we saw last year, we signed a lot of youth players. That was one of the best things we did when we came up to the Premier League. I'm talking Cody Drama, I'm talking Sam Greenwood, I'm talking Lewis Bate, I'm talking Somerville, I'm talking Joe Gelhardt. 5 massive signings that Leeds made, and as we saw in our relegation battle, a lot of those signings proved absolutely pivotal to keeping us up. The two most notorious ones being Sam Greenwood and of course Joe Gelhardt. If we didn't make those moves in the youth market, we probably wouldn't have stayed up last year. We genuinely wouldn't have stayed up. So I really like the fact that we are rejuvenating that squad that we have basically depleted so much because we needed them last year. Buying both of these midfielders, that's what I'm talking about, and that's what fills me with a bit of excitement. However, that's not really the midfielder that Leeds are looking at, is it? All right, it's very exciting to see us make these moves in the youth market. However, we want midfielders that can walk straight into the first team and make a direct impact on them, and one man that could just do that is Nicolas Raskin. That is right, there was a lot of talk about Victor Orta going over to Belgium. Obviously, there was that leaked photo, the selfie the fan took with Victor Orta, where he said he was flying from Manchester to Belgium, and a lot of us got very excited thinking, oh my god, that could just be Noah Lang. Are we going to make the moves for Noah Lang? However, there is one man that it still could have been, and as the days go on, although it's quite unfortunate for me because I really do want Noah Lang, the longer or the more it looks like he was actually looking at this man, and it is of course Nicolas Raskin of Standard Liège. Leeds are at risk of losing Calvin Phillips this summer, in addition to having two rather senior midfielders in the squad of Adam Forshaw 30 and Mateusz Klich at 32. In terms of Raskin, he could really be seen as the White's ideal heir for Klich, given how the latter is currently the oldest player at Ellen Road. The 21-year-old has spent all of his career in Belgium and made 78 senior appearances for his current club. In that time, the Belgian has found the net 4 times and delivered 9 assists, which highlights how useful he can be in front of goal on occasion. Not a crazy goal output, 4 goals rather and 9 assists in 78 appearances. It's not mental, it's not crazy. I don't know if I'd call him the ideal Klich replacement. He is a hell of a lot younger and he could develop into more of that. Is that the role that we need? Does Klich's role really have much of an impact in the way Leeds play now under Jesse Marsch, with our attacking midfielders being asked to do a lot more wide work? What Nicolas Raskin is described as being is quite a flair player in attack, but also a pit bull who would work his absolute socks off. So I think this could be a very interesting acquisition. If we do sign him, I think we are likely to let either Klich or Forshaw go, which is what I don't get, because I don't know how we deal with such congestion in the attacking area of the midfield if we did sign Raskin. Either that, or we would only be picking up one of Sander Berge or Tyler Adams. Now, if you ask me, I'd rather buy both Sander Berge and Tyler Adams and not Nicolas Raskin. However, I wouldn't be too opposed to Nicolas Raskin, and in fact, forget what I have to say. I want to hear what you guys have to say about my boy Nicolas Raskin. Who would you rather get? If you can only get 2 out of the 3, Tyler Adams, Nicolas Raskin, or of course Sander Berge, you can only get 2 of them. Which 2 are you getting and why? Let me know down below. And now, as we were talking about earlier, the next story is surrounding Leeds' drop in Rafinha's valuation by 23%. This is ridiculous, man. How we've been bullied like this. It's almost criminal in a way. It is almost criminal how we've been absolutely taken to the cleaners that badly, and it is disappointing to see Leeds caving into the demands of Barcelona just because they are giants in the European game. And I don't even think it's Barcelona we were caving to, because we're willing to accept that from anyone. However, speaking of Barcelona president has recently come out assuring that they will buy him, speaking to Rafinha, saying, you know what, fella, I know you got a little bit worried for a second there, but we will still buy you this summer. And this is, of course, directly relating to the story that I covered a couple of days ago about the fact that Barcelona sold a lot of club assets to raise 650 million euros in the short to medium term. And they are going to be using those reportedly to both sign up Frankie de Jong to a longer term contract, sign Robert Lewandowski, and of course sign Rafinha. Now, I don't like the fact that we're apparently caving to them to sell them for less than 65 million euros, and maybe the only thing that I'm hoping is that if we are willing to sell him for 43 million pounds, that we are getting something in return, whether that be a Ricky B or a discount on Serginho Dest. I don't know. I hope the board know a little bit more than I do and that they aren't being completely fleeced here, but nonetheless, he might be going to Barcelona, and it will be a little bit of a breath of or a fresh breath exhaled of relief from Leeds United fans that he isn't going to an Arsenal or a Tottenham. Now, that's the first departure for Leeds United. The second departure is, of course, Calvin Phillips, and this one is actually going to sting Leeds fans a hell of a lot more, obviously, because of who Calvin Phillips is and what he's done for the club. But he is apparently set to have direct talks with Manchester City as of 4 hours ago. Man City have planned to hold direct talks with Leeds United midfielder Calvin Phillips, according to Fabrizio Romano. The England international international has been linked with a move away from his boyhood club this summer, with Man U being credited with interest. Not going to happen, fella. It has recently emerged that Pep Guardiola wishes to take Phillips to the Premier League champions. However, Liga and champions PSG has also arrived as rivals for his signature. Now, first of all, mate, I don't know why I was having this debate with other people, and so many people are trying to tell me that Calvin Phillips is a good player, but he's not world class, he's not an elite player. How are you going to tell me that Calvin Phillips is not a world class player when the three clubs that have showed the most interest for him are Liverpool, Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain? Two of the wealthiest and three of the best teams in European football all want to sign Calvin Phillips, and you're telling me he's not a world-class midfielder? I am absolutely bemused by this information or this claim that he is not a world-class midfielder. But nonetheless, it does look like Manchester City are the closest to getting him, despite the late emerging stories of Paris Saint-Germain, and it does look like they are prepared to use Lavia as part of the deal. And finally, there is another midfielder that Leeds have also been linked with, and it is James McAtee, another Manchester City prodigy. Now, whether they'll throw him in with Lavia or they'll just try and slide McAtee our way, whatever it is, it looks like they're really trying to sweeten the deal with Leeds United to get Calvin Phillips, and they're trying to throw anyone under the sun at them, and they can gas these players up all they want, and they could in fact be brilliant players or turn out to be brilliant players. But the fact is, it's just a way of sweetening the deal for Leeds so that they can snag Calvin Phillips from us. And finally, another Manchester club linked with a transfer to Leeds United is Phil Jones, who is linked with a move to Ellen Road. But as we all know, that's never going to happen. But anyway, guys, let me know down on the comment section down below which of these moves excites you the most and which one you want to see signing for Leeds United. But it has been your boy JT, and I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.